Marcus used dream stacking for 6 weeks when he was redesigning his business model. First dream showed him a house with a cracked foundation. He decoded this as his business model being structurally unsound. He incubated next question, what foundation should I build instead? Second dream showed him teaching a class rather than doing one-on-one work. He shifted toward group programs. Third dream showed him on stage speaking to hundreds. He realized his ultimate scale path was speaking and courses, not services. Fourth dream showed him building a library. He understood this as creating a content archive that would compound value over time. Each dream built on the previous implementation, taking him deeper into strategic clarity. 6 weeks of dream stacking gave him a complete business transformation roadmap that he's still executing 3 years later with massive success. Try dream stacking when you're working on a major transition or complex problem. Don't just ask one question and stop. Keep the conversation going across weeks, letting each answer inform your next question. Your subconscious will take you as deep as you're willing to go. Now let's address the shadow side of dream work, because there is one. Some people become so focused on their dreams that they neglect waking action. They capture and analyze endlessly but implement minimally. They use dream work as sophisticated procrastination, another way to think about their business instead of actually building it. This is the dark side of the practice, and you need to guard against it vigilantly. The antidote is the implementation ratio rule. For every hour you spend on dream work, capturing, analyzing, journaling, you must spend at least 3 hours on waking implementation of business fundamentals. Sales, marketing, product development, operations, client service. Dream work informs these activities, but it doesn't replace them. If you find yourself spending more time with your dreams than with your customers, you've crossed into shadow territory. Pull back. Reduce dream work to minimum maintenance and increase real-world action until balance restores. Another shadow pattern is dream dependency. This is where you won't make any decision without dream guidance. You're paralyzed waiting for the perfect dream to tell you what to do. This is abdication of responsibility disguised as spiritual practice. Your dreams provide intelligence. You provide judgment and decision-making. Sometimes you need to decide and act based on available information, even if dreams haven't weighed in. Trust yourself to make decisions. Dreams enhance your decision-making. They don't replace it. The healthy relationship with dream work is integration, not dependence. You value dream intelligence as one crucial input among many. Market data, expert advice, financial analysis, gut instinct, and dream guidance all get considered. You weigh them appropriately and decide. Sometimes dream guidance tips the scale. Sometimes other factors outweigh it. You're the executive. Your various intelligence sources are advisors. Healthy power structure. If you notice yourself becoming dependent on dreams or using dream work to avoid real work, that's a red flag. Address it immediately by increasing waking action and temporarily reducing dream analysis time. The practice serves you. You don't serve the practice. Let me share the story of Elena, who fell into dream dependency and climbed back out. She started Dream Alchemy and got amazing early results. Her dreams accurately predicted 3 business opportunities that generated significant revenue. She became convinced that her dreams were infallible. She stopped trusting her waking judgment and wouldn't make decisions without dream confirmation. This worked until she faced a time-sensitive opportunity that required a decision within 24 hours. She tried incubation but didn't dream clearly that night. She didn't trust herself to decide without dream input. She passed on the opportunity. It turned out to be a major win for a competitor. That loss taught her that dream dependency is as limiting as dream ignorance. She recalibrated. Dreams became trusted counsel, not absolute authority. She learned to make decisions with whatever information was available in the time frame required. Sometimes that included dream guidance. Sometimes it didn't. Her decision quality remained high because she trusted her integrated intelligence, dream input plus waking judgment, rather than outsourcing decisions to dreams alone. Balance restored, results improved. Watch for dependency. Watch for procrastination. Watch for analysis paralysis disguised as dream work. Keep the practice clean and action-oriented. Implementation rates and business results are your accountability metrics. If those decline while dream work increases, you've lost balance. Correct it fast. Now let's talk about teaching Dream Alchemy to others, because once you've mastered this system, you'll naturally want to share it. Maybe with your team. Maybe with fellow entrepreneurs. Maybe as a formal offering. This impulse is good, but it requires care. You can't give someone dream intelligence. You can only teach them how to access their own. That's a different teaching task than most people realize. Here's the teaching protocol. First, share your results, not your process. Tell stories of what dream intelligence has generated for you in material terms. Numbers, outcomes, decisions, wins. This creates buy-in. Second, teach the absolute minimum to start. Capture protocol and 7 symbols only. Don't overwhelm with advanced techniques. Third, guide them through their first implementation cycle within 2 weeks. Capture, decode, act, measure, result. That complete cycle proves the concept. Fourth, step back and let them develop their own relationship with their dreams. Don't interpret for them. Don't tell them what their dreams mean. Ask questions that help them discover meaning themselves. The biggest mistake when teaching is doing too much of the work for others. You capture their dreams for them by asking about dreams when they don't initiate. You interpret their dreams for them because you're faster at it. You push them to implement when they're resistant. All of this creates dependency on you rather than self-sufficiency. Teach, model, guide, then release. Their dream practice must be theirs, not yours projected onto them. James taught dream alchemy to his leadership team. First attempt, he interpreted everyone's dreams in team meetings. It was interesting, but nothing changed because the team wasn't doing their own work. Second attempt, he taught them capture protocol and had each person share 1 implementation result per month in team meetings. No interpretation, just results. This worked. Each person developed their own practice at their own pace. Within 6 months, the entire leadership team was making better decisions because they all had access to subconscious intelligence. Company performance improved measurably. The difference was autonomy. He taught the system and let them own it. If you teach this work, teach for autonomy, not dependency. Give people tools and space to develop their own mastery. Don't become the dream expert they rely on. Make yourself unnecessary by making them capable. Let's go deeper on the relationship between dream alchemy and wealth psychology, because they're intimately connected. Your dreams reveal your true beliefs about money, success, and abundance. These beliefs are often hidden from your conscious awareness, but they govern your actions and results. Dreams make the invisible visible. Once visible, beliefs can be updated. Common wealth-limiting beliefs that appear in dreams include scarcity dreams where there's never enough, you're always running out of resources. Unworthiness dreams where you achieve success but feel like an imposter or fraud. Punishment dreams where success is followed by loss or suffering. Ceiling dreams where you reach a certain level and can't go higher. Conflict dreams where having money means losing relationships or values. These dream patterns reveal subconscious programming that limits wealth accumulation no matter how hard you work consciously. The solution is belief reprogramming through lucid dreaming and dream rehearsal. When you recognize a limiting belief pattern in dreams, you deliberately create alternate dream scenarios where the new belief is true. You're not denying the old belief. You're creating evidence for a new possibility. Over time, with repetition, your subconscious adopts the new belief because you've experientially demonstrated that it's possible. Sophia kept dreaming that whenever she made money, something broke or someone got sick and the money disappeared. This was pure scarcity and punishment programming. Having money equals losing money. She used dream rehearsal. She wrote alternate endings where she made money and it stayed, grew, and created security. She visualized these scenarios before sleep for 30 days. Her dreams shifted. She started dreaming about money accumulating, being saved, growing. More importantly, her real relationship with money changed. She stopped unconsciously sabotaging financial wins. She started saving for the first time in her life. Within a year, her net worth increased by $40,000, not because she made more, but because she stopped losing what she made. Dreamwork exposed and updated her wealth programming at the root. Pay attention to money dreams specifically. How does money appear? Is it scarce or abundant? Does having it feel safe or dangerous? Do you earn it or find it or lose it? These patterns reveal your wealth operating system. Once revealed, they can be debugged and upgraded through deliberate dream work combined with waking financial practices. Now let me give you the master-level integration practice, dream living. This is where you bring dream logic into waking life intentionally. You start asking throughout your day, if this were a dream, what would it mean? This question shifts your perception radically. You stop taking surface reality at face value and start looking for deeper patterns and meanings. You become a lucid waker, awake in the dream of daily life. For example, you have a frustrating interaction with a difficult client. Normal response, frustration and problem solving. Dream living response. If this were a dream, what is this client representing? Maybe they represent your own inner critic. Maybe they represent a boundary issue you have across multiple relationships. Maybe they're showing you something about your business model that attracts difficult people. By asking the dream question, you extract wisdom from what would otherwise be just an annoying experience. Or you notice you keep running into the same person unexpectedly. Normal response, funny coincidence. Dream living response, if this were a dream, what does this person represent or what message are they carrying? Maybe they embody a quality you need to develop. Maybe they're connected to an opportunity you should explore. Maybe the universe or your subconscious manifesting synchronicity is trying to get your attention about something they represent. By asking the dream question, you receive guidance from waking life the same way you receive guidance from sleeping dreams. Dream living is the ultimate integration because the boundary between sleeping and waking dissolves. You're extracting symbolic intelligence from all experiences, not just nighttime dreams. Your entire life becomes a source of guidance. This is advanced practice. Don't attempt this until you've mastered basic dream work. But once you're ready, dream living multiplies your intelligence gathering capacity exponentially. Victor practiced dream living for a year and described it as living in constant conversation with a wise teacher. Everything became potentially meaningful. A song on the radio, a book falling off a shelf, an unexpected phone call. He didn't obsess over every little thing. He just stayed gently curious about what life was showing him. His business decisions became eerily accurate because he was reading signals everywhere. He'd call this luck, but it wasn't luck. It was heightened pattern recognition applied to waking reality, the same way he'd learned to apply it to sleeping dreams. Try dream living 1 day a week to start. Pick a day and ask the dream question whenever anything unusual happens. Notice what insights emerge. Gradually increase frequency until it becomes natural background awareness. Let's address technology and dream work because apps and devices are entering this space. There are sleep tracking devices, dream journaling apps, AI dream interpreters, and more coming. My perspective is use technology as a tool, but never as a replacement for your own intelligence. A sleep tracker that shows you REM cycles can help you wake during optimal dream recall windows. Useful. A journaling app that makes capture easier. Useful. An AI that tells you what your dreams mean. Not useful. That outsources interpretation to an algorithm that doesn't know you, your context, your symbols, or your business reality. It's generic interpretation that will often mislead you. Use technology for capture, organization, and pattern tracking. Don't use it for interpretation or meaning making. That's your job. Your subconscious is speaking to you specifically. Only you can decode your personal symbolic language accurately. Technology can assist the mechanics. It can't replace the wisdom. One exception is biofeedback devices that help you achieve lucid dreaming through gentle stimulation during REM sleep. These can accelerate your lucid dreaming practice, which amplifies dream intelligence gathering. If you invest in dream technology, invest there. Lucid dreaming gives you direct access to subconscious intelligence through real-time conversation. That's exponentially more valuable than better dream journaling software. Now let's talk about the business of dream alchemy, because some of you will want to monetize this skill. You can coach others in dream work. You can integrate dream practices into existing consulting or coaching offers. You can create courses or content about this system, all valid paths. But understand that you can't monetize dream work itself. You monetize the results dream work produces. Business growth, decision-making clarity, strategic insight, stress reduction, innovation. These are what clients pay for. Dream work is the method that produces those outcomes. Position yourself around outcomes, not methods. Don't lead with "I teach dream interpretation." Lead with "I help entrepreneurs make better strategic decisions through a proven intelligence gathering system." Then introduce dream work as one component of that system. This avoids the woo-woo stigma and focuses attention on what actually matters, results. Also be selective about who you teach. Not everyone is ready for this work. Some people are too skeptical. Some are too woo and want magic, not method. Some lack the discipline for consistent practice. Your ideal clients are pragmatic, action-oriented people who are open-minded about unconventional methods but demand measurable results. Those people thrive with Dream Alchemy because it delivers both rigor and results. One final teaching guideline: never claim your dream work caused someone else's results. You taught a system. They did the work. They got results. This distinction keeps your integrity clean and keeps clients empowered rather than dependent. You're not a guru with special powers. You're a guide who taught a skill. They own their success completely. Year-long mastery roadmap. Quarter 1, months 1 through 3, foundation. Building capture habit. Learning symbols, basic implementations. Proving system works. Success metrics, 90% capture rate, 10 implementations, 3 measurable results totaling at least 5,000 in value. Your building wins document and tracking patterns. By end of quarter 1, dream work feels habitual, not forced. Quarter 2, months 4 through 6, deepening. Adding advanced techniques like lucid incubation, dream dialogue, pattern analysis, increasing implementation size and speed. Starting to teach others basics. Success metrics, first lucid dream achieved, 30-day thread showing clear progression, 5 implementations with results, 1 uncomfortable truth dream acted on despite resistance. By end of quarter 2, you trust the system completely. Quarter 3, months 7 through 9, expansion. Experimenting with stacking, moon tracking, dream living, integrating guidance with all other business intelligence seamlessly, having breakthrough moments where insight and action happen simultaneously. Success metrics, 1 major strategic pivot based on dreams, at least 20,000 in cumulative value, teaching practice to at least 1 person successfully. By end of quarter 3, Dream Alchemy is default operating system, not special practice. Quarter 4, months 10 through 12, mastery and contribution, operating at full integration. Dreams and waking inform each other fluidly, mentoring others. Innovating on practices, success metrics, 6-figure cumulative impact, sustainable practice requiring minimal effort. Created your own advanced protocols beyond what I taught. By end of quarter 4, you're not following Dream Alchemy. You are Dream Alchemy. Seasonality and rest. Your dreams have cycles. Your practice needs cycles. Periods of intense work where you capture daily, analyze weekly, implement constantly. Also periods of rest where you maintain minimum capture but don't analyze or push. Both necessary. Intensity without rest leads to burnout. Rest without intensity leads to stagnation. Rhythm creates sustainability. Sustainable rhythm protocol. 12 weeks on, 2 weeks minimal maintenance. During on periods, full practice. Daily capture, weekly analysis, consistent implementation. During minimal periods, only capture, nothing more. No analysis. No pressure. Just collect and rest. After 2 weeks, return refreshed. This prevents practice from becoming oppressive while maintaining habit foundation. Catherine burned out month 5. Incredibly disciplined, capturing every morning, analyzing every evening, pushing constantly. Hit a wall. Dreams felt like homework. She resented practice. Quit entirely 2 months. When she returned, implemented rhythm. 12 on, 2 light. Now in year 3, practice stronger than ever because it's sustainable. Rest periods enhance intensity periods because she comes back fresh, not depleted. Build rest into practice from day 1. Your commitment is to long game, not perfection daily. Sustainable trumps intense every time. Crisis protocols. Life throws chaos. Health, financial, relationship, business crisis. During acute crisis, dreams will shift to pure emotional processing. Chaotic, frightening, nonsensical. This is normal and appropriate. Your subconscious helps you process trauma and maintain stability. Don't expect strategic business guidance during crisis. Expect emotional processing. However, as acute phase passes and you move into management and recovery, dreams start offering strategic guidance again, often about what needs to change, what crisis revealed, what you need to release or rebuild. Post-crisis dreams are incredibly valuable. Crisis protocol. During acute crisis, minimum capture only. Just collect without decoding. Keeps habit alive without adding pressure. Once in management phase, usually 1 to 2 weeks in, start basic analysis again, but gently. Ask, what does this show me about what I need right now, not what strategic decision should I make. Focus on immediate stability and emotional truth. Dream amplification through somatic practices. Your body and dreams are intimately connected. Physical practices that reduce nervous system activation and increase body awareness produce richer, clearer dreams. Yoga, Tai Chi, breathwork, massage all support dream work by creating relaxed alertness, allowing dreams to form clearly and be remembered easily. You don't need to master yoga. Even simple practices help. 5 minutes slow stretching before bed, 3 minutes deep breathing, hot bath with Epsom salts. These settle nervous system and prepare neurology for quality sleep and dreams. Conversely, intense exercise late, caffeine, screen time before bed, fragment sleep, and suppress dream formation or recall. Simple somatic protocol. 1 hour before bed, no screens. 30 minutes before, gentle movement or stretching. 10 minutes before. Breathing where exhale is longer than inhale. activating parasympathetic system. Right before bed, body scan, mentally checking each part from feet to head, releasing tension. This costs nothing and dramatically improves dream quality. Linda added somatic practices and recall doubled within 2 weeks. Dreams also became more narrative and less fragmented, easier to decode and implement. Bodywork wasn't separate from dream work. It was foundational. Your brain runs on a body. If body is tense and dysregulated, brain can't produce optimal dreams. If body is relaxed and regulated, dreams flow naturally. Dream and intuition. They're related but not identical. Intuition is real-time subconscious processing, delivering instant knowing without logical steps. Dreams are subconscious processing during sleep requiring decoding, both valid intelligence sources. Both should be cultivated. Together they create complete subconscious intelligence system. How they work together. Dreams show patterns, themes, strategic directions over time. Intuition gives tactical yes-no answers in the moment. Dreams say this is general direction you should move. Intuition says this specific opportunity right now is yes or no. Dreams provide map. Intuition provides moment-by-moment navigation. You need both. Many find as dream work deepens, waking intuition sharpens. This makes sense. You're training yourself to listen to subconscious intelligence. That skill applies whether asleep or awake. The more fluent you become in subconscious language through dreams, the more you trust intuitive hits during waking. Integration. You have dreams suggesting expanding into new market. Strategic direction. Next week you meet 3 potential partners. Intuition clearly says yes to one, no to other 2. You follow dream direction but use intuition to choose specific path. Dream and intuition working together produce better results than either alone. Now let me address the question of whether dream work ever conflicts with therapy or psychological work. The short answer is no, they complement each other beautifully. Therapy typically works with conscious processing and behavioral change. Dream work accesses subconscious processing and symbolic intelligence. They're different tools working at different levels of the psyche. Most therapists respect dream work. Many incorporate it into their practice. However, if you're dealing with serious trauma, PTSD, or mental health conditions, you should work with a qualified mental health professional first. Dream work can intensify emotional content, which is generally useful but can be overwhelming if you're not adequately resourced. Make sure your nervous system can handle what your dreams will show you before diving deep. Therapy can help build that capacity. Also, if nightmares become frequent and debilitating rather than occasional and informative, that's a clinical issue, not a dream work issue. Seek professional help. Dream alchemy is for functional adults who want to optimize their intelligence and business results. It's not treatment for psychological disorders. Know the difference and act accordingly. Most of you listening don't have clinical issues. You're functional people who want to access more of your capability. For you, dream work and therapy complement each other well. Therapy helps you process past trauma and build psychological health. Dream work helps you access strategic intelligence and build material wealth. Both valuable, both different. No conflict. Let's talk about dream work and spiritual practice because some of you have spiritual or religious frameworks and you're wondering how dream alchemy fits. My perspective is that dream alchemy is religiously neutral. It's a practical system for accessing subconscious intelligence. How you interpret the source of that intelligence is up to you. If you believe dreams come from God or the universe or your higher self or just your brain's pattern-matching algorithms, dream alchemy still works the same way. Capture, decode, implement, measure results. Some practitioners integrate prayer or meditation with dream incubation. Instead of simply asking a question before sleep, they pray for guidance or meditate on the question. This is fine. It may enhance the practice by deepening your receptive state. Other practitioners keep dream work completely secular and scientific. Also fine. Results matter more than cosmology. The only caution is avoid using spiritual frameworks to avoid action. Don't say the universe will provide without taking responsibility for implementation. Don't say it's all God's plan without making decisions. Don't say you're manifesting without doing the actual work of building. Spiritual frameworks are beautiful when they empower you. They're dangerous when they become excuses for passivity. Keep dream alchemy action-oriented regardless of your spiritual beliefs. Sarah integrated dream alchemy with her Christian faith beautifully. She viewed dreams as one way God communicated with her, citing biblical examples of God speaking through dreams. She'd pray before incubating questions. She'd thank God after receiving clear guidance. Then she'd implement with full personal responsibility. Her faith enhanced her practice by giving her confidence in the intelligent source. Her practice enhanced her faith by providing measurable evidence of guidance. Both grew together. Whatever your spiritual framework, dream alchemy can fit within it or alongside it. Just keep it practical and action-oriented. That's the core regardless of cosmology. Now let me give you the advanced troubleshooting guide for specific dream interpretation challenges. Challenge 1. Dreams with multiple complex layers and you don't know which layer to focus on. Solution. Identify the emotional core of the dream. Which element had the most feeling attached to it? Start your interpretation there. The emotional charge indicates priority. Challenge 2. Dreams that seem to predict the future and you don't know if you should act on predictions. Solution. Treat them as current state readings, not predictions. The dream is showing you what trajectory you're on if nothing changes. You can change trajectory through action. Act on the guidance about what to change, not on assumption the prediction is fixed. Challenge 3. Recurring dreams that you've decoded and implemented on, but they keep coming back. Solution. You either decoded incorrectly or implemented incompletely. Go back to the dream with fresh eyes. Try a completely different interpretation, or check whether your implementation was surface level. The dream will stop when the underlying issue is fully addressed, not before. Challenge 4. Dreams that include dead relatives or loved ones and you're not sure if they're symbolic or something more. Solution. Ask yourself what quality or message that person represented in life. That's what they're representing in the dream. Whether it's their actual spirit visiting or your psyche using their image doesn't change the interpretation method. Challenge 5. Sexual dreams that feel inappropriate or confusing. Solution. Sexuality in dreams usually represents creative energy, merging of qualities, or desire for integration. It's rarely about literal sexual desire. Ask what qualities the other person in the dream represents and what merging those qualities with your own would create. That's your interpretation. Challenge 6. Dreams where you're a different person or living a different life entirely. Solution. That alternate self represents an unlived potential or path not taken. Ask what that version of you has that current you needs. The dream is showing you qualities or choices to integrate. Challenge 7. Dreams that feel prophetic or mystical beyond your current understanding. Solution. Capture them fully and date them, but don't force interpretation. Some dreams are seeds that will make sense later. File them and move on. If they're truly important, future events will clarify their meaning. Don't get stuck trying to decode the indecipherable. Trust that clarity will come when needed. These 7 challenges cover most interpretation difficulties you'll face. When stuck, return to basics. What's the emotional core? What's the primary symbol? What's the simplest interpretation? What's the smallest action I can take? Usually, simplicity unlocks what complexity obscures. Let me share one final master technique that ties everything together. Dream resonance testing. This is how you know which interpretation of a dream is correct when multiple interpretations seem plausible. You take each interpretation and sit with it for 60 seconds. Eyes closed, breathing slowly, imagining that interpretation is true and you're acting on it. Notice your body's response. Does your chest open or close? Does your breathing deepen or shallow? Does energy rise or fall? Your body knows which interpretation is accurate. It will resonate with truth and contract from falsity. This is not mystical. This is accessing somatic intelligence, your body's pattern recognition system, which is older and often wiser. Practice dream resonance testing with every significant dream. It will refine your interpretation accuracy dramatically and build trust in your full intelligence. Cognitive plus somatic plus intuitive plus symbolic. We're approaching the end now, and I want to leave you with the ultimate integration principle. Dream alchemy is not about dreams. It's about becoming fully conscious. Dreams are just the training ground where you learn to see patterns, trust nonlinear intelligence, and act on inner knowing. The real transformation is that you become someone who lives fully awake, extracting wisdom from every experience, trusting yourself completely, and manifesting vision into reality with increasing ease and speed. The dreams are the method. Consciousness is the goal. Wealth is the measurement. You're not learning dream interpretation. You're learning to be fully yourself, accessing all your intelligence, trusting all your knowing, acting with all your power. The person who completes this journey is unrecognizable from the person who started it. Not because they changed who they are, because they stopped hiding who they are. Your dreams have always been showing you your truth, your power, your path. You've been ignoring them because ignoring felt safer than knowing. Knowing requires responsibility. Knowing requires change. Knowing requires releasing who you pretended to be and becoming who you actually are. That's uncomfortable. That's also where wealth lives. Real wealth. Material wealth that reflects inner alignment. Money that flows because you're in your truth rather than money you grasp because you're in your fear. This is what the next year of your life can be. 90 days from now, you'll have proof the system works. 6 months from now, you'll trust yourself in ways you never have before. 12 months from now, you'll look back and barely recognize the person listening to these words right now, because that person didn't know what they were capable of. But you're about to find out. The 48-hour challenge stands. Set up your voice capture system tonight. Say out loud 3 times, "I will remember my dreams and I will act on what they tell me." Sleep. Capture what comes. Within 48 hours, take one concrete material action based on any element from any dream. Complete one full cycle from vision to action to manifestation. Prove to yourself that the system works. Then do it again. And again, and again until it's automatic, until you're someone who lives in constant dialogue with their deepest intelligence, until wealth becomes natural because you're finally operating from your full capacity. This is not theory. This is not inspiration. This is a system with mechanics and measurements and results. You have everything you need to begin. The only question remaining is will you honor what you're about to learn from yourself? Will you trust what you're about to discover? Will you act on what you already know but have been afraid to face? I believe you will. I believe that's why these words have found you. Something in you knows it's time. Time to stop ignoring your dreams. Time to stop leaving intelligence uncollected. Time to stop playing small when you have access to so much more. Time to step into the fullness of who you are and what you're here to build. Welcome to Dream Alchemy. Welcome to the practice that changes everything by changing nothing except your willingness to listen. Your dreams are waiting. They've been waiting your entire life. Tonight, you finally start listening. Tonight, everything changes. Tonight, you become an alchemist, turning the lead of ignored visions into the gold of material wealth. Go, sleep, dream, capture, act, transform. The world is waiting for what you're about to build. Your dreams already know what it is. Now you're finally ready to hear them. Let me leave you with one final image to carry into your first night of practice. Close your eyes for a moment if you're able. Imagine yourself standing at a doorway. Behind you is everything you've built so far using only your conscious mind. Only 40 bits per second of processing power. Only the limited intelligence of your waking awareness. It's been good. You've accomplished things. But you also know you've been working so much harder than you needed to because you've been operating with a fraction of your available capacity. Now look through the doorway in front of you. On the other side is the same life, the same business, the same goals. But in this version, you have access to all 11 million bits per second that your subconscious processes every night. You're making decisions with complete intelligence. You're seeing patterns competitors miss. You're moving with timing that seems magical, but is actually just aligned with deeper knowing. You're building wealth that feels natural because it's flowing from your truth rather than forcing through your will. The doorway between these two versions of your life is thin. It's just one decision. The decision to finally listen to what you've been ignoring. The decision to collect the intelligence you generate every night for free. The decision to trust yourself enough to act on what you discover. Step through that doorway right now. Not physically, but energetically. Feel yourself on the other side where you're operating from your full capacity. This is who you're becoming. This is who you've always been underneath the limitations you accepted as normal. Open your eyes. You're already there. You just took the first step by completing this audiobook. Now you take the second step tonight when you capture your first dream with intention and commitment. Remember this above everything else. You're not broken and you don't need fixing. You're not missing anything, and you don't need to acquire some special power. You already have everything you need. You generate profound intelligence every single night. You've just been trained to ignore it, dismiss it, forget it. This entire audiobook has been about one simple thing: permission. Permission to take yourself seriously. Permission to trust what you know. Permission to act on your deepest intelligence. Permission to build wealth from alignment rather than hustle. I give you that permission. More importantly, you give yourself that permission. Starting tonight. Starting with one captured dream. Starting with one small action taken within 48 hours. Starting with one measurable result within 90 days. That's all this is. A permission slip to be fully yourself and use all your intelligence instead of a fraction of it. 90 days from now, you'll return to this moment and barely recognize the person who needed permission. Because by then, you won't need permission anymore. You'll know from direct experience that your dreams contain actionable wealth intelligence. You'll have evidence. You'll have results. You'll have proof that the system works because you worked the system and wealth increased measurably as a result. That version of you 90 days from now is already celebrating. They're looking back at this moment with gratitude because this was when everything shifted. This was when you stopped abandoning your dreams and started building with them. This was when you became an alchemist. The practice starts tonight. The results start accumulating immediately. The transformation is inevitable if you show up consistently. Everything you need is already inside you, generated fresh every night, waiting to be collected and converted into material wealth. Welcome home to your full capacity. Welcome home to your complete intelligence. Welcome home to the wealth that's been waiting for you to finally claim it. Your dreams are calling. It's time to answer. Begin. You threw away $47,000 last night. You did it the night before too, and the night before that. Not literally, but close enough to sting. Every night while you sleep, your brain processes 11 million bits of information per second. Every morning you wake up and delete 90% of it within 10 minutes. Gone, erased, like closing a browser with 50 tabs of critical business intelligence and never saving a single one. What if I told you that one of those deleted tabs contained the exact answer to your biggest business problem right now? What if another one showed you which opportunity to pursue and which to avoid? What if a third one revealed the strategic move that separates six-figure entrepreneurs from seven-figure ones? You'd probably think I was exaggerating. Here's proof I'm not. 3 years ago, Marcus was broke. His consulting business was failing. Rent was 3 weeks late. He woke up at 2 a.m. from a dream about a warehouse filled with golden light. He tried to catch the light in his hands. It kept slipping through his fingers like water. He grabbed his phone, typed incoherent notes, went back to sleep thinking his stressed brain was just generating noise. 6 months later, Marcus signed a lease on an actual warehouse. He'd finally decoded what the dream was screaming at him. The golden light wasn't something to catch. It was something to share. He converted that warehouse into a co-working space built entirely around natural light and open architecture. First month revenue, $47,000. 2 years later, 7 figures annually. One dream. One $47,000 idea that his conscious mind completely missed, while his subconscious mind handed it to him for free. But here's what actually matters to you. Marcus isn't special. He's not spiritually gifted. He doesn't meditate for hours or follow some guru's teachings. He just accidentally stumbled into what you're about to learn systematically. Your dreams are processing wealth patterns your waking mind cannot see. While you use 40 bits per second of conscious processing, your subconscious runs nearly 300,000 times more powerful every single night. You're leaving money on the table. Literally. Every morning you dismiss your dreams as random nonsense. You're throwing away intelligence that cost you nothing to generate and everything to ignore. But here's what makes this story matter to you. Marcus isn't special. He's not spiritually gifted. He doesn't meditate for hours or follow some guru's teachings. What he accidentally stumbled into, and what you're about to learn systematically, is that your dreams are processing wealth patterns your waking mind cannot see. While you sleep, your subconscious mind handles 11 million bits of information per second. Your conscious mind, the one you're using right now to listen to these words, processes about 40 bits per second. That means every single night, you have access to a processing power nearly 300,000 times stronger than your waking awareness. You're leaving money on the table, literally. Every morning you wake up and dismiss your dreams as random nonsense. You're throwing away intelligence that cost you nothing to generate and everything to ignore. The ancient alchemists tried to turn lead into gold. They failed because they were working with the wrong materials. But they had the right idea. Transformation. Taking something seemingly worthless and revealing its hidden value. Your dreams are the lead. Not worthless, but unrefined. Raw. Encoded. This audiobook is your philosopher's stone, the tool that transforms vision into material wealth through a process I call the VAM framework. Vision, action, manifestation. It's not magic. It's not mysticism. It's applied neuroscience meets practical business strategy, and it works because it aligns how your brain actually functions with how wealth actually gets created in the real world. Right now, I want you to do something simple. Think back to the last 5 dreams you can remember. Don't worry if you can only recall fragments. Most people can barely remember last night's dream, let alone 5 dreams back. But try anyway. Maybe you remember flying. Maybe you remember being chased. Maybe you remember a conversation with someone you haven't seen in years. Maybe you remember water, lots of water, an ocean or a flood or rain. Hold one image from those 5 dreams in your mind. Just one. Got it? Good. That image, that single symbol or scene, contains unprocessed wealth intelligence. By the end of this audiobook, you'll know exactly what to do with it. Here's my promise to you, and I don't make promises lightly. Within 48 hours of finishing this audiobook, you will identify one monetizable insight from your dreams, and you will take a material action on it. Not think about it, not plan it. Take action. And within 90 days, using the complete system I'm about to teach you, you will produce at least one tangible wealth result directly traceable to dream intelligence. A new revenue stream, a key partnership, a product prototype, an investment opportunity, something real, something you can measure, something that didn't exist before you learned to speak the language your subconscious has been using all along. That's the contract. You bring your attention and your willingness to act. I'll bring the system. Let's begin. Your brain speaks 2 languages. The first language, the one you're most familiar with, is linear, logical. It uses words, numbers, sequences. It's the language of spreadsheets and business plans and tax returns. The second language is symbolic, associative. It uses images, feelings, patterns, metaphors. It's the language of dreams. Most people spend their entire lives fluent in only one language, and it's usually the wrong one for generating breakthrough wealth. The conscious, logical language is excellent for executing plans, but it's terrible at creating them. It can optimize, but it can't innovate. It can protect, but it can't expand. For that, you need the second language, and that language only speaks clearly when you're asleep. There are 7 universal symbols that appear across cultures, across time periods, across every human population studied, and these 7 symbols consistently encode financial opportunity. Water represents flow and abundance. Keys represent access and unlocking potential. Roads represent direction and journey. Gold represents obvious value and transformation. Flying represents perspective and freedom from limitation. Doors represent thresholds and new opportunities. Seeds represent potential and growth. These aren't arbitrary associations. They're how the human brain naturally encodes abstract concepts like wealth creation into concrete visual metaphors. When you dream of water, your subconscious isn't showing you literal H2O. It's showing you something about flow in your life, about abundance or scarcity, about currents you're swimming with or against. Let me give you an example. Sarah ran a small graphic design business. Decent income, nothing spectacular. For 3 months, she kept dreaming about drowning. Same dream, different variations. Sometimes it was an ocean, sometimes a bathtub, sometimes a flood in her childhood home. She assumed it was anxiety, which it partially was, but anxiety is information, not just noise. When she finally wrote down the dream and looked at it carefully, she noticed something. In every version of the dream, she drowned because she was trying to hold on to objects while swimming. A briefcase, a laptop, her portfolio. The dream wasn't about drowning. It was about what she was holding on to that was pulling her under. In her business, she'd been clinging to retainer clients who paid reliably, but demanded constant availability and killed her margins with revision requests. She was drowning in busy work that felt like security. The dream was showing her that what looked like a life raft was actually an anchor. Within 2 weeks of recognizing this pattern, she dropped her 2 most demanding retainer clients and shifted to project-based premium work. Her income dropped for 1 month, then doubled within 3 months. The dream didn't tell her what to do. It showed her what was actually happening beneath her conscious justifications. This is crucial to understand. Dreams don't predict the future. They reveal the present with radical clarity. Your conscious mind has agendas. It has fears and attachments and blind spots. Your subconscious mind has none of those. It simply processes reality as it actually is and reports back in the only language available during sleep. The challenge isn't that dreams are cryptic. The challenge is that truth is often cryptic when it contradicts what we want to believe. So let's talk about the 7 symbols more specifically, because you need to know what to look for. When you dream of water, ask yourself about flow. Is the water clean or dirty? Moving or stagnant? Are you swimming with the current or against it? Are you drowning or floating? These variations matter because they map directly to how resources are moving in your waking life. Clean flowing water usually indicates healthy cash flow or creative energy moving productively. Stagnant or dirty water indicates resources trapped or contaminated by poor systems or toxic relationships. Drowning indicates overwhelm, specifically taking on more than your current capacity can handle. Keys are about access. Dreaming of finding keys often precedes discovering a solution that unlocks a stuck situation. Losing keys indicates you've lost access to something important, maybe confidence or a relationship or a skill you used to rely on. Lots of keys on a key ring can indicate opportunity overload or the need to figure out which door you're actually trying to open. One of my clients dreamed repeatedly about a key that wouldn't work in any lock. He kept trying door after door. After mapping this to his business, he realized he was using the same pitch, the same approach, for every potential client regardless of their actual needs. The key wasn't broken. He was trying to open doors it wasn't designed for. He segmented his approach, customized his offerings, and his close rate tripled. Roads are about direction and journey. A smooth highway indicates you're on a clear path with good momentum. A dirt road or a path through woods indicates you're pioneering or taking a less conventional route. Being lost on a road indicates strategic confusion, not knowing which direction serves your goals. Roadblocks indicate exactly what you think, obstacles, but pay attention to whether the roadblock is external like a fallen tree or self-created like you simply stopped walking. These details reveal whether your obstacles are circumstantial or psychological. Gold, the symbol of transformation and alchemy itself, shows up when your subconscious recognizes value that your conscious mind hasn't priced yet. Dreaming of finding gold often precedes recognizing an overlooked asset. One entrepreneur kept dreaming about gold coins in his grandmother's attic. He didn't have a grandmother with an attic, so literal interpretation failed. But when he thought metaphorically, he realized he had years of old client testimonials and case studies he'd never organized or leveraged. That archive was gold. He turned it into a lead magnet that generated $60,000 in new business in 4 months. Flying represents perspective and freedom from limitation. Now here's where this gets practical. These 7 symbols form your base vocabulary, But your personal dream language has dialects. Your subconscious will use symbols specific to your history, your culture, your profession. A former athlete might receive strategy guidance through sports imagery. A musician might get business models shown as compositions. A parent might see organizational structure as family dynamics. The universal symbols give you a starting point, but you need to build your personal symbol dictionary over time. This brings us to the most important habit you'll develop from this entire audiobook. Dream capture. Without a capture system, everything else I'm teaching you is theoretical. You can understand dream language perfectly and still lose millions in uncollected intelligence simply because you didn't write it down. Memory is not storage. Memory is reconstruction, and it's terrible reconstruction at that. Within 5 minutes of waking, you forget 50% of dream content. Within 10 minutes, 90% is gone. Your conscious mind isn't trying to sabotage you. It's doing its job, which is to focus on immediate survival and task execution. Dreams feel irrelevant to that mission, so they get deleted to free up processing power. You need a capture protocol that works with how your brain actually functions, not against it. The single most effective method, and the one I've tested with hundreds of clients, is voice-first capture. Here's exactly how it works. Before you go to sleep tonight, place your phone within arm's reach with a voice recording app ready to go. Not buried in folders. Not requiring passwords or multiple taps. Open and ready. When you wake up, before you move, before you check messages, before you go to the bathroom, before you do anything else, grab your phone and speak your dreams. Don't try to organize them. Don't try to make them coherent. Just describe what you remember in whatever order it comes. Images, feelings, colors, people, actions, fragments are fine. Confusion is fine. Nonsense is fine. You're not creating literature. You're creating raw data for later processing. The reason voice works better than writing is twofold. First, speaking is faster than writing, and speed matters when you're racing memory decay. Second, and this is less obvious, the act of writing engages your logical, editorial mind. You start organizing and censoring before you've captured the raw material. Speaking keeps you in associative mode just a little bit longer. You'll capture details that your writing hand would have judged irrelevant. Later in the day, when you're fully awake and your logical mind is online, you transcribe the recording. This is when you start looking for patterns, identifying symbols, asking questions. Let's walk through what this looks like in practice. You're going to do this with me right now as a demonstration. I want you to think back to last night's dream, or the most recent dream you can remember. Close your eyes if you're in a safe place to do so. Take a deep breath in. Hold it for 3 counts. Breathe out slowly. Again. Breathe in. Hold. Breathe out. One more time. Breathe in. Hold. Breathe out. Now with your eyes still closed, don't try to remember the dream logically. Instead, ask yourself these questions. What color was the dominant feeling? Not the dominant color, but if the emotional tone of the dream was a color, what would it be? Where were you in the dream? Inside or outside? Alone or with others? Were you moving or still? Was there water anywhere? Was there a doorway? Was there anything golden or shining? Don't force answers. Just notice what bubbles up. Open your eyes. If anything came back to you just now, that's dream material worth capturing. If nothing came, that's fine too. Your capture muscles are just weak from disuse. They'll strengthen. For the next 30 days, you're building your dream archive. This isn't optional if you want results. Every morning, voice capture. Every evening, quick transcription. You're not analyzing yet. You're just collecting. Think of it like a scientist gathering specimens before running experiments. You need volume. You need variety. You need time series data. Because the real power isn't in individual dreams. It's in patterns across dreams. That's where your subconscious reveals what it's actually trying to tell you about wealth opportunities. After 30 days of capture, you'll do your first pattern analysis. This is simpler than it sounds. You're going to read through your transcriptions and mark every recurring element. Recurring people, recurring locations, recurring actions, Recurring emotions, recurring objects. Use a simple spreadsheet or even pen and paper. Create categories and count. If your mother appears in 7 dreams out of 30, that's significant. If you're late or rushing in 12 dreams, that's significant. If you keep dreaming about houses or cars or phones or forests, that's significant. The frequency tells you priority. Your subconscious doesn't waste energy. If it's showing you something repeatedly, it's trying to get through your conscious filters. One client did this exercise and discovered that across 30 days, he dreamed about losing his teeth 8 times. Teeth in dreams typically relate to power, confidence, and self-image. He'd been avoiding a difficult conversation with his business partner about equity distribution. The dream wasn't subtle. Every time he avoided the conversation, he literally lost power in his sleep. Within a week of having that conversation, the teeth dream stopped. He renegotiated his equity stake, which eventually translated to an additional $200,000 when they sold the company 3 years later. 8 dreams about teeth equals $200,000. Show me a business course with that return on investment. Here's what you're looking for in pattern analysis. First, recurring symbols from the Universal 7. If water shows up constantly, your wealth issue relates to flow. If keys show up constantly, you have an access or permission problem. Second, recurring emotional states. If you're anxious in most dreams, you're operating above your nervous system's capacity in waking life, which always limits wealth creation because anxiety narrows perception and kills creativity. If you're powerful or confident in dreams but not in waking life, there's a confidence gap costing you money. Third, recurring people. These represent aspects of yourself or relationship dynamics affecting your wealth. Your father might represent authority issues. Your ex might represent unfinished business or old patterns you're repeating. A stranger might represent unknown aspects of yourself trying to emerge. Now we get to the more advanced practice. Lucid dream incubation. This is where you stop being a passive receiver of dream content and start actively requesting specific intelligence. You can program your dreams to work on actual business problems while you sleep. This isn't science fiction. This is documented neuroscience. The technique is called dream incubation, and it's been studied in sleep labs with measurable results. The process is straightforward. Before sleep, you formulate a clear question about a specific business challenge. Not a vague question like, how do I make more money? A specific question like, what's the one change that would double my client retention? Or who is the ideal partner for this project? Or what am I not seeing about this pricing strategy? You write the question on paper, not typing, writing. The motor cortex engagement seems to matter. You read the question 3 times aloud. You place the paper under your pillow or next to your bed. As you're falling asleep, you repeat the question in your mind. Not desperately or anxiously, but with genuine curiosity. You're inviting your subconscious to work on this problem. Then you let go and sleep. When you wake up, immediate voice capture as usual, but this time you're specifically noting anything that might relate to your question, even tangentially. Does this work every time? No. Does it work more often than chance? Absolutely. About 60 to 70% of my clients report receiving actionable insight within 3 nights of consistent incubation practice. The insight usually isn't literal. It's not like a voice tells you the answer. Instead, the dream shows you a situation or scenario that, when decoded, addresses your question. A woman asked how to differentiate her coaching practice in a crowded market. She dreamed about being in a library where all the books were the same except for one book that was handwritten. That dream gave her the answer. While every other coach was using polished marketing and perfect branding, she started sharing handwritten client letters and rough personal stories. It differentiated her immediately and doubled her enrollment. The key to incubation is specificity and repetition. One night of asking usually isn't enough because your subconscious needs to understand you're serious about receiving and acting on the answer. 3 nights is the minimum. 7 nights is better, and you have to be willing to receive uncomfortable answers. Sometimes the answer to how do I make more money is stop doing the thing you're currently doing, and that's hard to hear. Your conscious mind will try to reinterpret or dismiss uncomfortable dream guidance. This is where capture helps. The raw voice recording doesn't lie. It shows you what the dream actually contained before your editorial mind cleaned it up. Let me take you through a visualization right now to give you a felt sense of what dream incubation feels like when it works. Get comfortable. Close your eyes if you can. Imagine you're standing at the edge of a forest at dusk. The light is fading, but it's not dark yet. You can see a path leading into the trees. You're holding a question in your hand. You can't see. That visualization is a template your subconscious understands. If you do that before sleep with a real question, you're dramatically increasing the probability of receiving dream guidance. The well symbolizes depth. The dropping of the question symbolizes release of control. The sound coming back symbolizes receiving without demanding a specific format. Your subconscious responds to symbolic action, which is why ritual matters more than most people realize. Now let's talk about translating dreams into actual business action, because symbol literacy is useless without an implementation bridge. I call this the dream to dollar decoder, and it's a 5-step process you apply to any dream that feels significant. Step 1. Describe the dream in present tense as if it's happening right now. I am walking through a building. The doors are all locked. I find a key. The key opens one door. Inside is a room full of plants. This present tense description keeps you in the experiential truth of the dream rather than analytical distance. Step 2. Identify the primary symbol and your emotional response to it. In this example, the primary symbol might be the locked doors, or the key, or the plants. Your gut tells you which one has the most charge. Let's say it's the key. Your emotional response was relief when you found it and excitement when it worked. Note that relief and excitement are wealth emotions. They indicate movement from constraint to possibility. Step 3. Ask what this symbol represents in your current business reality. Not what you wish it represented, what it actually maps to. Locked doors are opportunities you can't access. The key is whatever gives you access. What in your current business life feels like a key? Maybe it's a skill you need to learn. Maybe it's a person you need to meet. Maybe it's permission you need to give yourself. Maybe it's a credential or certification. One woman realized her key was testimonials. She had the results but hadn't been collecting proof. Once she gathered testimonials, doors that had been locked, speaking gigs, podcast interviews, opened easily. Step 4. Define the minimum viable action. What's the smallest real-world step you can take in the next 48 hours that aligns with the dream's guidance? Not the full implementation, not the perfect execution, the minimum step that proves you're listening. For the key dream, minimum viable action might be reaching out to 3 past clients to request testimonials. It might be signing up for that course you've been avoiding. It might be sending an email to someone who could introduce you to the opportunity you want. Small, specific, time-bound. Step 5. Set a measurement criteria. How will you know if acting on this dream intelligence created material results? Maybe it's 3 new conversations within 2 weeks. Maybe it's 1 speaking invitation within 30 days. Maybe it's a 10% increase in close rate within 60 days. You need metrics because otherwise you'll dismiss results as coincidence. Your logical mind needs proof to keep trusting the process. Give it proof. Let's run through a real example from start to finish. Thomas ran a software consulting firm. He was stuck at $400,000 a year in revenue and couldn't break through. He dreamed he was at a party where everyone was speaking different languages. He couldn't understand anyone and felt frustrated. He noticed one person in the corner who wasn't speaking at all, just observing. Thomas walked over to that person and they communicated perfectly without words. He woke up feeling relieved. Step 1. Present tense description. I am at a party. Everyone speaks different languages. I feel frustrated and isolated. I see someone in the corner who is silent. I approach them. We communicate without words. I feel understood and relieved. Step 2. Primary symbol and emotion. The silent person is the primary symbol. The emotion is relief and connection. This indicates the solution to his isolation is related to someone who operates differently than the crowd. Step 3. Current business reality mapping. Thomas realized the party was the marketplace. All his competitors were shouting about features and benefits, different languages for the same basic message. He'd been trying to shout louder. The silent person represented a different approach entirely. What if instead of more marketing noise, he became the quiet expert who listened first? What if his differentiation was depth of understanding rather than volume of messaging? Step 4. Minimum viable action. Thomas decided to stop all outbound marketing for 2 weeks and instead spend 30 minutes daily having conversations with existing clients to understand their actual problems without pitching solutions. Just listening. He'd never done this systematically. Step 5. Measurement criteria. He'd track how many clients mentioned new problems he didn't know about and how many unsolicited referrals came from those conversations within 30 days. Results? In 2 weeks of listening conversations, he discovered that 4 of his clients were struggling with the same integration challenge that his software could solve with a minor modification. He hadn't known because he'd never asked the right questions. He made the modification, packaged it as a premium add-on, and generated $60,000 in additional revenue in the next quarter from existing clients. Then one of those clients introduced him to a partner organization, which became a $200,000 contract. All from one dream about not speaking. This is what I mean by dreams revealing present reality. Thomas wasn't dreaming about the future. He was dreaming about what was already true, that his communication strategy was failing and the solution was counterintuitive silence. His conscious mind would never have arrived at that strategy because it contradicted everything he'd been taught about marketing. His subconscious had no such limitations. Here's something important. Sometimes dreams warn you rather than guide you. Nightmares are your subconscious red alert system saying this path leads somewhere bad. Most people wake from nightmares and try to forget them immediately. This is backwards. Nightmares deserve your closest attention. Jessica kept dreaming her teeth fell out. Classic power and confidence symbol, but her variation was specific. Her teeth would fall out and she'd hide them in her pockets, pretending everything was fine while people asked if she was okay. She'd been running her consulting business for 3 years. From outside it looked successful. Inside she was exhausted and barely profitable, saying yes to every project, working 70 hours weekly, terrified to raise rates or turn anyone away. The dream showed her the truth. She was losing power and pretending otherwise. When she decoded the nightmare, she did something radical. She doubled her rates and said no to half her incoming requests. She kept only projects that genuinely interested her and paid what she was worth. Her income dropped 20% for 2 months while hours dropped 60%. Then income caught back up and exceeded where it had been, but she was working 30 hours weekly instead of 70. The nightmare showed her the facade was costing her the substance. Once she stopped hiding the truth, the nightmare stopped. She hasn't had that dream in 2 years. Here's how to work with nightmares specifically. First, write them down in detail, especially the parts that scare you most. The scariest elements usually contain the most important information. Second, identify what you're losing or what's chasing you or what disaster is happening. That's the symbolic representation of the actual risk. Third, ask yourself where in your waking life you feel that same type of fear or threat. Not identical circumstances, but the same emotional signature. Fourth, name the risk clearly. What am I actually afraid of losing? What am I actually afraid will happen? Fifth, assess whether that risk is real or imagined, and if real, what defensive action protects you. One entrepreneur kept dreaming about his house burning down while he was inside and couldn't get out. The dream was visceral and terrifying. When he mapped it to business reality, he realized his company had become dependent on one major client who represented 70% of revenue. The house was his business. The fire was the inevitable loss of that client because no client stays forever. The inability to escape was his trapped feeling, knowing he should diversify, but not doing it because that one client kept him comfortable. Within 6 months of having that nightmare regularly, he forced himself to develop 3 new client relationships, even though it meant less attention to the major client. 8 months later, the major client cut their contract by half due to budget constraints. Instead of catastrophic, it was manageable because he'd already built alternative revenue. The nightmare gave him an 8-month warning. He listened. This brings up an important point about dream guidance and timing. Dreams don't operate on your schedule. They operate on readiness and urgency. Sometimes you'll get guidance about something that won't be relevant for 6 months. Sometimes you'll get urgent guidance about something happening next week. Part of developing dream literacy is learning to distinguish between strategic guidance and tactical guidance. Strategic dreams show you long-term patterns and structural issues. Tactical dreams show you immediate opportunities or threats. Strategic dreams tend to be more symbolic and abstract. They deal with archetypes, universal symbols, big emotional themes. Tactical dreams tend to be more literal and specific. They might include real people from your life, actual locations, recent events slightly altered. If you dream about a specific person you're supposed to meet with next. Both types are valuable, but they require different responses. Tactical dreams require immediate action or preparation. Strategic dreams require reflection and gradual implementation. Mixing these up causes problems. People try to take immediate action on strategic dreams and get confused when nothing happens. People miss tactical warnings because they assume all dreams are purely symbolic. Here's a rule of thumb. If the dream includes real people you interact with regularly in realistic settings, treat it as tactical. If the dream is surreal, symbolic, or mythic, treat it as strategic. Now, let's address the question you're probably asking. What if I just don't remember my dreams at all? What if my capture recordings are blank every morning? This happens to about 20% of people when they start. There are several causes and several solutions. First cause, you might be consuming alcohol or cannabis close to bedtime. Both substances suppress REM sleep, which is when the most vivid dreams occur. If you want dream intelligence, you need to make a choice about evening substances. Second cause, you might be sleep deprived. If you're only sleeping 5 or 6 hours, you're cutting off your REM cycles, which lengthen as the night goes on. You need 7 to 8 hours minimum. Third cause, you might be waking up to alarms during REM cycles. Try going to bed earlier and waking naturally without an alarm on weekends to see if dream recall improves. Fourth cause, and this is the most common, you might have trained yourself for decades not to remember dreams. Your conscious mind has gotten very efficient at deleting dream content because you've never signaled it's important. The solution is consistent capture practice, even when there's nothing to capture. The act of reaching for your phone and opening the recording app every morning, even if you then say, I don't remember anything, trains your brain that dream content matters. Within 2 to 3 weeks of consistent practice, most people start getting fragments. Within 6 weeks, they're getting full dreams. Here's a technique that accelerates dream recall. Before you fall asleep, tell yourself out loud, I will remember my dreams. I want to remember my dreams. My dreams contain important information. Say it 3 times. This sounds absurdly simple, but it works because it's setting intention. Your subconscious is listening and will prioritize dream memory if you tell it that's important. Combine this with the voice capture practice and you'll break through the recall barrier. Let me share a conversation that happened in one of my workshops. A participant, I'll call him David, was frustrated because he'd been trying the capture practice for 2 weeks with no results. Here's how that conversation went. So I've tried this every morning for 2 weeks and I've got nothing. I wake up, I grab my phone, and my mind is completely blank. I don't think I dream at all. Everyone dreams. You're having 4 to 6 REM cycles a night. The question is why the memory isn't transferring. Walk me through your exact morning routine. What's the very first thing you do when you wake up? Well, my alarm goes off. I hit snooze once usually. Then I turn it off and I grab my phone. Okay, you're already moving. Your body is shifting position. Your eyes are opening to bright light. And you're reaching for your phone. All of that is pulling you fully into waking consciousness. The dream memory lives in the transition state. You need to capture it before you fully wake up. Try this instead. Set your alarm 15 minutes earlier. When it goes off, don't move. Keep your eyes closed. Don't shift position. Just reach for your phone without looking at it. Start speaking immediately with your eyes still closed. Describe any image, any feeling, any fragment that's floating in your awareness, even if it makes no sense. But what if there really is nothing there? Then you say that. You say, I don't see any images, but I feel this way. Tired, peaceful, anxious, whatever. You're still capturing your interior state, which is valuable data. But I bet within 3 days of this modified protocol, you'll start catching dreams because you're meeting them where they live instead of asking them to survive the transition into full waking consciousness. David tried the new protocol. Day 1, nothing. Day 2, a fragment about being in a car. Day 3, a full dream about trying to find a parking space in a crowded lot that led to insight about his pricing strategy being too low, which was why he was competing for space with too many others. He needed to price higher to access less crowded market space. He implemented that insight and his profit margins increased 30% in the next quarter. All because he learned to stop moving when he woke up. These small technical details matter enormously. Dream work isn't just about interpretation. It's about creating the conditions for dreams to be remembered and translated. If you get the mechanics right, the insights follow naturally. If you get the mechanics wrong, you'll spend years thinking you're someone who just doesn't dream or doesn't benefit from dream work, when actually you're just missing the capture window. Let's talk about the next level of pattern recognition. Once you have 30 days of dream data, you're looking for 3 types of patterns. Repetition patterns, where the same symbol or scenario appears multiple times. Progression patterns, where dreams show a sequence or evolution over time. And contrast patterns, where dreams suddenly shift from one consistent theme to a completely different one. Repetition patterns are the most obvious. If you dream about being late 5 times in a month, your subconscious is hammering on a theme. Being late relates to time, deadlines, preparation, or feeling behind. Map that to your business. Are you consistently underestimating how long projects take? Are you overpromising on delivery timelines? Are you avoiding tasks until they become urgent? The repetition is your subconscious saying this problem isn't going away until you address it. Progression patterns are more subtle but incredibly valuable. These show movement and development. For example, you might dream about a house in week 1. In week 2, you dream about the same house, but now you're exploring rooms you didn't know existed. In week 3, you dream about renovating the house. In week 4, you dream about people coming to visit the house. This progression is showing you a development arc. The house represents your business or your capacity or your sense of self. The progression shows expansion, discovery, improvement, and finally sharing or scaling. This type of pattern is your subconscious showing you that you're ready for growth, and it's showing you the sequence. First, explore what you already have. Then improve it. Then invite others in. Contrast patterns are warnings or inflection points. You might have 3 weeks of dreams about swimming in calm water, then suddenly a week of dreams about being chased through city streets. The shift from water to streets, from calm to chase, from natural to urban, signals a major change in your internal landscape. Something shifted in week 4. Maybe you made a decision. Maybe you received information. Maybe you encountered a new person or opportunity. The contrast tells you your subconscious is processing a significant transition, and you should pay extra attention to what's happening in waking life during that period. One of my clients tracked her dreams for 90 days and found a stark contrast pattern. For 6 weeks, she dreamed about gardens, plants, growth, natural settings. Beautiful, peaceful dreams. Then in week 7, all her dreams shifted to mechanical imagery. Factories, machines, gears, metal. She felt cold in these dreams, efficient but disconnected. When she looked at her business timeline, week 7 was when she'd hired a business manager who was implementing systems and processes. The dreams weren't saying systems were bad. They were saying she was losing her connection to the organic, creative aspect of her work that had built the business in the first place. She adjusted course, kept the systems, but carved out protected time for creative work. The mechanical dream stopped, and she started dreaming about gardens with greenhouses, which felt like the integration she needed. This is a key principle. Your dreams aren't dictating what you should do. They're showing you what's actually happening in your psyche and your energy, which your conscious mind is often too busy or too defended to notice. You still make the decisions, but you make them with much better information. Now we need to talk about synchronicity, because this is where dream work starts to feel magical, though it's not magic at all. Synchronicity is when waking reality confirms or echoes dream content in improbable ways. You dream about a red bird, and the next day someone mentions a red bird in conversation, and that afternoon you see one, and then you get an email from someone with bird in their company name. Most people dismiss this as coincidence. Maybe it is, but maybe it's pattern recognition. Your attention has been primed to notice red birds, which were always there but invisible to your filtered perception. Here's what matters from a wealth perspective. Synchronicities are breadcrumbs. They tell you you're on a resonant path. When you take action aligned with dream guidance and then notice synchronicities confirming that direction, you're receiving real-time feedback that you decoded correctly. This feedback loop accelerates learning. You become more confident in your dream interpretations because reality keeps validating them. A simple example. Robert dreamed about keys, which we know represent access. In the dream, he found 3 keys tied together with a red ribbon. The next morning, he transcribed the dream and decided the 3 keys. However, if you're talking to someone who respects intuition or who you have deep trust with, you can add, honestly, this insight came to me in a dream, and I've learned to pay attention when something lands with that much clarity. I've tested dream insights before, and they've led to measurable results. That frames the dream as one valid source among many, not as the only justification. Here's a real scenario. Maria had a business partner. They'd been working together for 2 years and things were going okay, but not great. Maria started having recurring dreams about trying to drive a car with someone else controlling the steering wheel. She'd push left, they'd pull right. Frustrating, chaotic dreams. She realized the dream was about partnership dynamics. She and her partner had fundamentally different visions for where the company should go, and they'd been avoiding that conversation for a year. The dream was showing her that shared control without shared vision creates chaos. She knew she needed to have a difficult conversation. Here's how she approached it. Hey, I want to talk about our long-term vision for the company. I've been reflecting on where we each want to go, and I'm not sure we're aligned anymore. I think we should each write down our 5-year vision independently and then compare them. If they're compatible, great. If not, we need to figure out if one of us should buy the other out or if we should pivot our partnership structure. This was direct, logical, and actionable. No mention of dreams. Her partner agreed. They did the exercise, and their visions were indeed incompatible. They negotiated a buyout. Maria took the company in her direction. 3 years later, it's worth 4 times what it was during the partnership. The dream didn't tell her what to do. It told her what was actually happening so she could address it consciously. The lesson is this. Dreams give you intelligence. You translate that intelligence into language and strategy that your waking world can receive. You don't need people to believe in dream work. You need them to respond to good strategy, which dream work helps you develop. Now let's address something crucial that most dream work teachings completely miss. The relationship between dream cycles and market cycles. Your dreams don't exist in a vacuum. They're responsive to the external environment, including economic conditions, seasonal changes, and market dynamics. If you track your dreams across a full year, you'll notice themes shift with seasons and with external pressures. Understanding this helps you distinguish between personal guidance and collective field effects. For instance, during economic uncertainty, anxiety dreams spike across populations. If you're having anxiety dreams during a recession or market downturn, it might not be personal guidance. It might just be your nervous system responding to ambient stress. The question is whether your anxiety dreams are giving you specific actionable guidance or just reflecting general unease. Specific guidance includes details, names, scenarios you can act on. General unease is vague, formless dread without clear symbols. Similarly, many people notice their dreams become more creative and possibility-oriented in spring, and more introspective and consolidation-oriented in fall. This mirrors natural cycles. If you're having expansive dreams in spring, that's probably good timing to launch new initiatives. If you're having consolidation dreams in fall, that might be time to strengthen existing systems rather than chasing new opportunities. Working with natural rhythms rather than against them makes everything easier. One client tracked his dreams for 2 years and noticed every January his dreams became about cleaning, organizing, and throwing things away. Every April, his dreams became about planting and building. He started scheduling his business year around these dream cycles. January became his operational audit month where he cut unprofitable services and streamlined systems. April became his launch month for new offerings. His business revenue became more predictable and his stress decreased because he stopped fighting his natural rhythm. This is important. You have an internal seasonal calendar, and your dreams will show it to you if you pay attention. Most business advice tells you to push constantly, grow constantly, launch constantly. But that's not how nature works. Nature has seasons. Growth and rest, expansion and consolidation. Your psyche has seasons too. Dream work helps you identify your personal rhythm so you can build a business that works with your energy rather than depleting it. Let's talk about a specific type of dream that indicates you're ready to scale. These are what I call expansion dreams, and they have recognizable markers. You dream about moving into a bigger house or finding extra rooms you didn't know existed in your current house. You dream about upgrading your vehicle or being given a larger vehicle. You dream about multiplying twins, copies doubling. You dream about reaching new heights, climbing mountains successfully, flying higher than usual. You dream about teaching or leading groups rather than operating solo. These dreams indicate your subconscious has processed growth and is ready for it. Not hoping for it, ready for it. The distinction is crucial. Aspirational dreams show you wanting something you don't have. Readiness dreams show you embodying something you've already become internally, but haven't manifested externally yet. If you're dreaming about living in a mansion, but in the dream you feel awkward or out of place, that's aspiration, not readiness. If you dream about a larger house and you're comfortable, moving naturally through the space, that's readiness. Your nervous system has integrated the next level. Time to act on it. Conversely, there are dreams that indicate premature scaling. You dream about being responsible for things too heavy to carry. You dream about buildings collapsing or vehicles breaking down. You dream about being chased or unable to keep up with demands. These dreams are warnings that your current capacity can't support the expansion you're contemplating. This doesn't mean never scale. It means not yet. These dreams are telling you to strengthen foundation first, build capacity, shore up weak points before adding more weight. A common mistake is ignoring contraction dreams because they feel like failure. They're not. They're strategic intelligence. Better to dream about downsizing and heed that warning than to overextend and collapse in waking life. One entrepreneur kept having dreams about his house getting smaller. He ignored them because he was in aggressive growth mode. 6 months later, he'd overexpanded, couldn't manage the complexity, and had to lay off half his team and shut down 2 product lines. The dream gave him a 6-month warning. If he'd listened, he could have grown more slowly and avoided the pain of contraction. Sometimes the wise move is to stay at your current size and deepen quality rather than expand and dilute quality. Think about your last 5 dreams right now. Were they expansive or contractive? Were you moving into larger spaces or smaller ones? Were you gaining or losing? Were you in control or overwhelmed? These patterns tell you whether your subconscious is signaling readiness or caution. Neither is bad. Both are information. The question is whether you're listening. Let's do a grounding exercise because we've covered a lot and your conscious mind might be spinning. Wherever you are right now, plant your feet flat on the ground. Feel your sit bones or your feet making contact with the surface beneath you. Take a breath in for 4 counts. Hold for 4 counts. Breathe out for 6 counts. Again, in for 4. Hold for 4. Out for 6. One more time. In for 4. Hold for 4. Out for 6. Notice that you're here, now, present, alive. Notice that everything I've taught you is accessible. You don't have to remember it all. You just have to be willing to try one piece, just one. And now, gently, bring your attention back. We need to talk about the most common reason dream insights don't convert to material results. Lack of action. You can decode dreams perfectly, understand every symbol, track every pattern, and still stay broke if you don't implement. Dreams provide intelligence, not outcomes. You provide outcomes through action. This seems obvious, but it's where most people fail. They get excited about an insight, journal about it, tell their friends, and then do nothing. Insight without implementation is entertainment, not transformation. Here's the implementation protocol. Within 48 hours of decoding a significant dream, you must take one concrete material action, no matter how small, that aligns with the guidance. Not planning, not researching. Action. Send the email. Make the phone call. Update the price. Cancel the meeting. Post the offer. Buy the domain. Schedule the appointment. Something that changes physical reality, that creates a ripple in the world outside your head. This 48-hour window is critical because that's how long motivation lasts after insight. After 48 hours, resistance returns and you'll rationalize inaction. The action doesn't have to be big. It has to be real. If your dream tells you to pivot your business model, you don't need to rebuild everything in 48 hours. But you do need to send one email to one person asking one question that starts the pivot. That's enough. The action creates momentum, and momentum creates results. I'll tell you about Rachel. She dreamed about a bridge that was half built, suspended over a canyon. She was standing on one side wanting to cross but couldn't because the bridge wasn't finished. She woke up and immediately understood the dream. She'd been building a course for 8 months but hadn't launched it because it wasn't perfect yet. One client struggled with dream work for 3 months. She'd capture dreams, decode them, but then second-guess herself and not take action. I finally told her, pick the stupidest, smallest action you can possibly take based on any dream. Don't pick the smart one. Don't pick the logical one. Pick the weird one that makes no sense. Just to prove to yourself you can act even when you're uncertain. She did it. She dreamed about purple flowers. Made no sense to her. But she went and bought purple flowers for her office just to complete the action loop. That afternoon, a potential client came for a meeting, saw the flowers, and mentioned that purple was her late mother's favorite color, and she took it as a sign that she should work with my client. They signed a $20,000 contract. The flowers cost $15. Was that mystical? Maybe, maybe not. But it broke her action paralysis. After that, she started implementing dream guidance immediately because she'd proven to herself that action creates results even when logic can't explain the connection. Sometimes the mechanism doesn't matter. What matters is whether the system produces outcomes. Science hasn't fully explained consciousness yet, but you use your consciousness every day without needing to understand how it works. Same with dream intelligence. Use it, test it, measure it. Let results be your teacher. Now let's talk about integration, which is the phase most people never reach. Integration is when dream work stops being a special practice you do and starts being how you operate. You don't think about capturing dreams. You just do it. You don't think about looking for symbols. You see them automatically. You don't think about taking action. Action becomes natural response to insight. This is the goal. Not to become someone who does dream work, but to become someone who lives at the intersection of vision and material reality, fluent in both languages simultaneously. Integration takes about 6 months of consistent practice. 6 months of daily dream capture, 6 months of weekly pattern review, 6 months of regular implementation. After 6 months, it's hardwired. Your brain has built the neural pathways. The practice becomes effortless. And that's when the real magic happens. Not magic as in supernatural, but magic as in results that look impossible to outsiders because they can't see your intelligence source. An integrated dream alchemist looks at business challenges differently than other people. Where most people see problems, they see patterns. Where most people see chaos, they see messages. Where most people see obstacles, they see information. This shift in perception is worth more than any tactical advice I could give you, because perception determines what you notice. And what you notice determines what opportunities you can act on. Think about the last business problem you faced. How did you approach solving it? Did you research? Did you ask advisors? Did you analyze data? All valuable. But did you sleep on it and specifically request dream guidance? Probably not. An integrated practitioner does both. They use all waking resources and all sleeping resources. They have access to twice as much intelligence as everyone else. That's not a small advantage. That's exponential advantage. Here's what your life looks like after integration. You wake up with dream content readily available. You spend 5 minutes capturing it. Later that day, you review the transcription and identify any actionable intelligence. If you find some, you implement within 48 hours. You track synchronicities that confirm or question your interpretation. You notice patterns over weeks and months. You use incubation when you face specific challenges. You read nightmares as advance warnings. You recognize expansion and contraction signals. You trust the process because you have years of evidence that it works. You move through the world with a confidence that's invisible to others, but produces visible results. You're operating from a different paradigm entirely. The beautiful thing about this paradigm is it compounds. Your conscious competence grows. Your business grows. Your wealth grows. Your trust in yourself grows. They all feed each other. You're not just building a business. You're building a system of intelligence that makes every business decision better. That system is portable. If you lose everything tomorrow, you still have the system. You can rebuild with the same intelligence that built it the first time. Nobody can take that from you. So let's talk about what happens when dreams tell you to make changes you don't want to make. This happens. Your dream clearly indicates you should leave a partnership, pivot your business model, fire someone, or stop pursuing an opportunity you're invested in. These are the hardest dreams to honor because the cost feels immediate and the benefit feels distant or uncertain. But these are also the most important dreams to honor because they're showing you that your current path leads somewhere you don't want to go. I'll tell you about Michael. He'd been building a tech startup for 3 years. Significant investment. Good team, real progress. Then he started dreaming repeatedly about driving a car with no brakes. He'd try to stop, but the car kept going, faster and faster, until he'd wake up right before crashing. The dream was unambiguous. His company was accelerating toward disaster, and he had no way to stop it. When he looked honestly at the business, he realized they'd built a product nobody wanted badly enough to pay for. They had users, but no revenue model that worked. Every conversation with investors was about growth metrics while ignoring unit economics that didn't work. The dream was showing him what he wouldn't admit. They were headed for a crash. He had a choice. Ignore the dream and keep going, or honor the dream and shut it down. He chose to honor it. He shut down the company, returned remaining money to investors, and took a job at an established company to learn what he'd been missing. It felt like failure. It felt like giving up. But 3 years later, he started a new company with the lessons learned, and it became profitable within year 1 because he didn't repeat the same mistakes. The dream didn't ruin his entrepreneurial journey. It saved him from wasting another 3 years on a doomed path. These pivot dreams are tests. They're testing whether you love your vision more than you love truth. They're testing whether you're willing to release what isn't working to make space for what will work. They're testing whether you trust yourself enough to make hard decisions. Most people fail these tests. They ignore the guidance, justify their current path, and crash anyway. The lucky ones crash fast and recover. The unlucky ones crash slowly over years, draining resources and spirit in the process. If you're having recurring dreams that clearly indicate you should stop something, stop it. Not eventually. Now. Every day you continue after the warning is a day you're choosing comfort over wisdom. And it will cost you, maybe not today but soon. Dreams that recur weekly for over a month are emergency broadcasts. They're your last chance to course correct voluntarily before reality forces the correction involuntarily. Voluntary corrections are less painful. Choose them. Let me ask you something. Have you had a recurring dream that keeps showing you the same theme or problem? Have you been ignoring it because facing it requires change you don't want to make? What would it mean if you finally listened? What would you need to stop doing? What would you need to start doing? And what's it costing you to keep pretending you don't know? We've covered mechanics, symbols, interpretation, implementation, integration. Now I want to talk about the one thing that determines whether any of this works for you. Commitment, not motivation. Commitment. Motivation is fleeting. It's what you feel after listening to an audiobook or attending a workshop. It lasts days, maybe weeks. Commitment is what you do when motivation is gone. Commitment is showing up on day 47 when you've had nothing but boring dreams for a week. Commitment is implementing even when you're not sure. Commitment is trusting the process when you can't yet see results. Here's what commitment looks like in practice. You commit to 90 days of daily dream capture, no exceptions. You commit to weekly dream review every Sunday evening, no excuses. You commit to implementing at least one insight per month. You commit to tracking results. You commit to continuing even when it feels pointless. 90 days. That's the minimum to build the habit and see measurable results. Can you commit to that? Most people won't. They'll listen to this audiobook, feel inspired, capture dreams for a week or two, see no immediate results, and quit. They'll tell themselves it didn't work. It did work. They didn't work it. There's a difference. Dream alchemy is like going to the gym. Going once doesn't make you fit. Going consistently for months makes you fit. The system works for everyone who works the system. The question is whether you will. Let me be very direct because you need to hear this. You've spent money and time on this audiobook. That investment is worthless if you don't implement. Not reduced value, worthless. Information without implementation is entertainment. You've been entertained. Now the question is whether you'll be transformed. Transformation requires decision. Right now, not later, now. Will you commit to 90 days of practice? Yes or no? If yes, put a reminder in your phone for tomorrow morning. Dream capture, 7 a.m. Do it now while you're thinking about it. If you don't do it now, you won't do it tomorrow. And if you don't do it tomorrow, you won't do it at all. This is the moment where everything either changes or stays the same. Okay. Assuming you've committed, that's not fantasy. That's what integrated dream alchemists experience every day, and you can join them. The system is simple. The commitment is real. The results are measurable. Everything you need is already inside you. You've been generating this intelligence every night of your life. You just haven't been collecting it. So here's your final choice point. You can close this audiobook, feel inspired for a day or two, and return to business as usual, ignoring the intelligence source that's always been available to you. Or you can decide that today is the day you stop leaving money on the table. Today is the day you start listening to the voice that speaks when you're asleep. Today is the day you become a dream alchemist, someone who turns visions into material wealth through systematic process. The 48-hour challenge starts now. Before you sleep tonight, you're going to do 3 things. First, set up your voice capture system. Phone by the bed, app ready, no barriers. Second, review the 7 universal symbols. Water, keys, roads, gold, flying doors, seeds. Just familiarize yourself. Third, before you fall asleep, say out loud, I want to remember my dreams and I will act on what they tell me. That's your declaration of intent. Then sleep. Then capture whatever comes. Then within 48 hours, take one material action based on any element from that dream or any dream you've remembered while listening to this audiobook. It doesn't matter if the action feels small or silly. What matters is that you complete the loop from vision to action to manifestation. That loop is the entire system. Everything else is elaboration. You're standing at a threshold right now. On one side is your old way of operating, limited to conscious processing, doing what everyone else does, getting what everyone else gets. On the other side is expanded intelligence, access to your full capacity, strategic advantage nobody else has, and wealth that flows from alignment with your deepest knowing. The threshold is thin. It requires only decision. But the decision is real. You have to choose. I've given you the map. I've shown you the territory. I've provided the tools, but I can't walk the path for you. That's your job, and it starts tonight with one simple act: capturing one dream, then taking one action, then seeing one result, then doing it again, and again, and again until it's automatic, until you're someone who lives awake in their dreams and brings their dreams into waking reality, until the gap between vision and manifestation is so narrow it's barely perceptible, until wealth becomes natural because you're operating from your full intelligence instead of a fraction of it. This is dream alchemy. This is how you turn visions into material wealth. Not through magic, through method. Not through luck, through labor. Not through hoping, through knowing. You already have everything you need. The question is whether you'll use it. Now let me take you deeper into the practice, because mastery requires more than understanding the system. It requires living it day by day, challenge by challenge, until it becomes your default operating mode. What I'm about to share with you are the advanced protocols, the relapse prevention strategies, and the micro-challenges that separate people who try dream alchemy from people who transform through it. Let's start with something most people never consider: dream dialogue. This is a technique where you actively converse with dream characters or symbols after waking to extract deeper intelligence. Here's how it works. You capture a dream as usual. You identify a key figure, a person, an animal, an object that had presence in the dream. Later that day, you sit quietly with a journal and you write a question to that figure. Then you write their response. You're not making this up arbitrarily. You're channeling the same subconscious intelligence that created the dream in the first place. Let me give you a concrete example. Daniel dreamed about a wolf following him through a city. Not attacking, just following. He captured the dream but didn't understand it. That afternoon he tried dream dialogue. He wrote, "Wolf, why are you following me?" Then he let his hand write whatever came without editing. The response that emerged was, "Because you keep ignoring your instincts and I'm trying to remind you they exist." That landed with physical force. Daniel realized he'd been making business decisions based purely on data and logic, completely overriding his gut feelings about people and situations. His instinct, the wolf, was literally stalking him, trying to get his attention. He started a practice of checking in with his instincts before making decisions. When considering a new client, he'd ask himself what his wolf sense said, not just what the revenue projections said. Within 3 months, he'd avoided 2 clients who looked great on paper, but his instincts said no. Both of those potential clients turned out to be nightmare clients for other service providers. Late payments, scope creep, impossible demands. His wolf had known. The dream dialogue opened the communication channel. Here's your practice protocol. Once weekly, choose one charged dream element. Write it a question, write its response. Read and ask a follow-up. Continue for 3 exchanges minimum. You'll access neural networks that process symbolically rather than linearly. This isn't mysticism. This is giving your subconscious a voice in your waking world. Now the relapse prevention protocol. Around day 20 or 45 or 60, you'll want to quit. Dreams will feel boring. You'll wonder if this is just confirmation bias. This doubt phase is predictable. It's a test. Quit here and you'll never build the pathways for mastery. Push through and you'll break into new capability. Your prevention plan. First, expect the doubt. Knowing it's coming reduces its power. Second, during doubt phases, lower the bar. You don't need profound dreams nightly. Maintain the habit. Even recording "I don't remember anything" counts. Third, review your wins document. Keep a log of every time dreams led to material results. When doubt hits, read it. Evidence counters doubt. Fourth, find accountability. Someone checking weekly whether you captured and implemented. Fifth, remember resistance often spikes before breakthroughs. Your ego knows continued practice threatens its control. Resistance signals you're close to something important. Christina started with enthusiasm. First 3 weeks were great. Vivid dreams, clear insights, 2 implementations that worked. Week 4, nothing. Boring dreams, fragments, nothing decoded. She told herself it wasn't working. She stopped capturing. 2 weeks later, a business meeting went badly. The partner said all the right things, but something felt off. Christina couldn't articulate what. Then she remembered she'd stopped listening to instincts when she stopped listening to dreams. She went back and read her last captured dream. It was about a door that looked beautiful but was fake, just a painting on a wall. When she tried opening it, nothing was behind it. The dream had warned her about exactly this. Beautiful appearances, no substance. She'd stopped practice right when she needed it most. She walked away from that partnership. 3 months later, that company collapsed in scandal. Her dream had seen it. She'd stopped listening at the critical moment. She never stopped again. Your doubt will come. When it does, remember Christina. Your subconscious doesn't stop working because your conscious mind loses enthusiasm. Keep the channel open. Keep capturing. Keep implementing. Let's get granular with your first 30 days. Day 1, set up, capture, and record your first dream fragment. Success means you reached for your phone and spoke before fully waking. Day 2, transcribe and identify one color, feeling, or object. Day 3, research one universal symbol that appeared. Day 4, before bed, say I will remember my dreams tonight 3 times. Day 5, review 4 days and notice repeating words or themes. Day 6, share one dream with another person. Day 7, rest day, capture only. Day 8, try dream dialogue with any figure, 3 exchanges. Day 9, identify one business question you'd like guidance on and write it down. Day 10, review days 1 through 9 and identify your strongest dream. Day 11, run that dream through the 5-step decoder. Day 12, implement the minimum viable action within 48 hours. Day 13, track synchronicities related to yesterday's action. Day 14, 2-week review. Read all captures and write 1 paragraph about patterns. Day 15 through 18, incubation experiment. Use your question from day 9 for 4 consecutive nights. Day 19, interpret the incubation dreams even if unclear. Day 20, identify one uncomfortable truth from your dreams. Day 21, 3-week review, calculate capture rate. Day 22, implement the uncomfortable truth with concrete action. Day 23, dream dialogue with your fear. Day 24, rest day. Day 25, mark every universal symbol with color codes. Day 26, map your most frequent symbol to 3 business scenarios. Day 27, find one past decision a dream was commenting on. Day 28, write what's changed in 4 weeks. Day 29, extra reps on your hardest element. Day 30, full review, chart patterns, identify top 3 themes, choose next implementation. That's 30 days of micro wins. Each builds on the previous. By day 30, you know this works because you have evidence. Now dream amplification techniques. First, the waking bridge. Before moving your body, replay the dream backward from last scene to first. This strengthens memory trace. Then replay forward. Only then reach for your phone. This double pass increases capture quality significantly. Second, vitamin B6 before bed. 50. Let's go deeper on nightmare work. Most people wake from nightmares with nervous system activated, heart racing. They want to forget fast. This is backward. Nightmares force you to pay attention to what you're ignoring. They're unpleasant on purpose. Pain says stop, pay attention, change course. Advanced nightmare protocol. First, immediately capture while emotional intensity is present. The emotion is data. The fear is information. Second, after capturing, do physiological calming. Hand on heart, hand on belly. Breathe slowly 2 minutes. You're telling your system it's safe while keeping dream content accessible. Third, later when calm, read the transcript and ask, what is this trying to protect me from? Not what does it mean? What is it protecting me from? This reframes nightmare from enemy to ally. Fourth, identify the worst moment, the peak fear. That contains the core message. What were you about to lose, face, or experience before you woke? That's your answer. Fifth, map that fear to current business. Where do you feel that same threat? Sixth, name the protective action. What would defend you if you took this seriously? Seventh, take protective action within 1 week. Not eventually, 1 week max. Your subconscious sent a nightmare because timeline is urgent. Gregory had nightmares about showing up to presentations unprepared. No slides, no notes, audience staring, exposed and incompetent, visceral and humiliating. When he ran the protocol, the protection question was key. What was it protecting him from? Obvious once asked correctly. Protecting him from actual public humiliation that would happen if he kept winging presentations. He'd relied on charisma and improvisation instead of preparing properly. It had worked so far, but engagements were getting bigger and more sophisticated. The nightmare warned his approach would fail at the next level. He implemented new protocol. Every presentation got minimum 4 hours prep blocked in advance. No exceptions. Nightmares stopped immediately. 6 months later, he landed his biggest client ever, based on a meticulously prepared presentation. The nightmare showed him the failure path so he could avoid it. What nightmare have you been having? What was it protecting you from? What protective action are you avoiding because taking it requires admitting the threat is real? Dream threading connects dreams across time to see story arcs. Every 30 days, create a thread document. List dreams chronologically and look for narrative progression. Moving from indoor to outdoor, passive to active, chaos to order, conflict to resolution. These reveal subconscious processing of major transitions. Janet did threading after 90 days and noticed clear arc. Month 1, trapped in small rooms. Month 2, finding doors and keys. Month 3, exploring wide-open landscapes. She hadn't noticed consciously, but once mapped, meaning was obvious. She'd felt trapped in her business model, spent second month discovering possibilities, and by month 3, her subconscious had integrated coming expansion and showed her freedom. This confirmed she was ready to launch her new service line. The thread gave her confidence her internal process was complete. At day 30, 60, and 90, create a one-page visual map. Simple drawings, stick figures, symbols, place chronologically. Draw arrows showing progression. Color code emotional tones. Step back. What story is your subconscious telling? That story is your development arc. Trust it. Partnership dream work. If you have a co-founder, try shared incubation. Both partners incubate the same question the same night. Capture independently. Next day, compare notes before discussing waking solutions. Often dreams provide complementary perspectives. One sees financial risk, the other sees relationship or timing angle. Together you get complete picture. Mark and Jennifer co-founded a design agency. They were considering a major client representing 60% of revenue if won. Big opportunity but big risk and dependency. Both incubated, should we pursue this client? Mark dreamed about building a tower that kept getting taller but foundation was cracking. Jennifer dreamed about a feast, abundant food, but she was the only one eating and felt lonely. Compared the next morning, guidance was clear. Mark's showed structural risk and unsustainable growth. Jennifer's showed isolation and lack of diversification. They decided not to pursue and instead built diverse client base. A year later, 12 steady clients instead of one massive one. More revenue, much more stability. Shared incubation gave aligned clarity that prevented strategic mistake. Try shared incubation monthly on your most important strategic question. You'll be amazed how often subconscious minds arrive at complementary conclusions. Dream portability is communicating insights without sounding irrational. Lead with insight, not source. Don't say I had a dream about a golden key so we should pivot. Say I've been thinking about our acquisition strategy and realized we're competing in overcrowded space. What if we raised prices and targeted premium segment? I'd like to test this. That's rational, actionable. No dream mention. If talking to someone who respects intuition or you have deep trust, add honestly. This came to me in a dream and I've learned to pay attention when something lands with that clarity. I've tested dream insights before with measurable results. That frames dreams as one valid source among many. In creative industries, saying this came in a dream shows inspiration. In analytical industries, never say that. Say I woke up with this insight and I've stress tested it. In industries valuing intuition like coaching, say I've learned to trust intuitive hits and this one came through strongly. Read your audience. Translate appropriately. Truth is portable. Packaging is contextual. Take one strong insight and write 3 versions. One for conservative analytical audience. One for creative intuitive audience. One for mixed. Practice until automatic. Dream intelligence becomes easier to implement when you can communicate in any context without losing credibility. Recovery protocols for when you break practice. You will. Life happens. Travel, sickness, crisis consuming bandwidth. You'll go days or weeks without capturing. The question isn't whether, it's how you restart without losing momentum. Step 1. No guilt. Guilt is useless. It creates resistance to restarting. Acknowledge you stopped. Decide to restart. Step 2. Lower the bar 3 days. Your only goal is capture anything. Even one word, 3 consecutive mornings. No analysis, no implementation. Just reestablish capture. Step 3, Day 4, do light review and celebrate you're back. Step 4, return to full practice, Day 5. This 4-day protocol works because it's gentle enough to actually do while structured enough to rebuild momentum. Most people try jumping back at full intensity, feel behind, quit again because it's overwhelming. Gentleness and consistency beat intensity and inconsistency every time. Thomas stopped and restarted 4 times before it stuck. First time, 3 weeks, then vacation. Didn't restart 2 months. Second, 6 weeks, then discouraged, stopped 1 month. Third, 2 months, then family emergency, stopped 3 weeks. Fourth time, used recovery protocol. When he broke during another crisis, he restarted with 4-day protocol. Now consistent over 2 years. The difference wasn't willpower. It was having a restart system not requiring perfection. Build relapse into your plan. Expect it. Prepare for it. Have recovery protocol written and visible so when life happens, you know exactly what to do. This removes decision fatigue during difficult times. Dream evolution. Your dreams change as you develop practice. Early dreams tend chaotic, fragmented, difficult to interpret. As you build symbol literacy and your subconscious learns you're listening, dreams become clearer, more narrative, more directly helpful. Months 1 through 3, expect symbolic, surreal, emotion-heavy dreams requiring significant decoding. Months 4 through 6, expect more narrative structure, recurring characters or settings, clearer cause-effect sequences. Months 7 through 12, expect some dreams to become almost instructional, showing step-by-step processes or giving direct solutions. After year 1, some report dreams feeling like conversations with wise advisor rather than symbolic riddles. This happens because your subconscious adapts based on what works. When you act on guidance and it produces results, your subconscious learns directness is received and valued. It adjusts. This is why implementation is critical. You're training your subconscious to communicate efficiently through the feedback loop of action and results. Patricia tracked evolution carefully. First month, bizarre, surreal, often disturbing. Colors wrong, physics didn't work, people shifted identities. Decoding was hard. By month 6, dreams stabilized into realistic scenarios with clear symbolic elements easier to translate. By month 12, she had dreams where she'd have conversations with a figure giving specific business advice she could implement almost verbatim. Her subconscious learned she valued clarity and delivered clarity. Try layered questioning for any major decision with multiple dimensions. You'll find it produces more actionable intelligence than single question incubation because you're engaging dialogue rather than making one-time request. Celebrating wins. Most people get result from dream work, acknowledge briefly, immediately move to next challenge. Mistake. Celebration trains your brain to value and repeat behavior. Every time dream intelligence leads to material result, mark it consciously and emotionally. Celebration protocol. Within 24 hours of any measurable result from dream guidance, write complete sequence from dream to interpretation to action to result. Note date, dollar amount or business impact and how it felt. Keep this in wins document. Read monthly. This creates 2 effects. First, builds evidence the system works, increasing trust and commitment. Second, trains subconscious that dream intelligence is valued and produces rewards, making subconscious more motivated to provide clear intelligence. Don't skip celebration. It feels self-indulgent, but it's critical system maintenance. Your brain learns from reward. Give it rewards for dream work, and it produces more dream work worth rewarding. Let me give you a final advanced practice called dream bridging. This is where you use your waking life to intentionally create conditions that will generate specific dream content. For example, if you want dreams about expansion and growth, you spend time in nature observing growth processes like sprouting seeds or growing plants before bed. If you want dreams about financial abundance, you spend time before bed visualizing or handling money. If you want dreams about partnership, you spend time before bed reflecting on successful collaborations. This works because your dreams are partially influenced by your waking attention and activities. You're priming the pump. You're giving your subconscious specific material to work with during sleep. Dream bridging isn't manipulation. It's collaboration. You're participating in the dream creation process rather than being a passive recipient. Alicia wanted more dreams about creativity and innovation because her business had become too routine and operational. For 2 weeks before bed, she spent 30 minutes consuming creative content, watching TED Talks about innovation, reading poetry, looking at art, listening to experimental music. Her dreams shifted dramatically. She started dreaming about building unusual structures, mixing colors that didn't exist, inventing new instruments. The dreams gave her permission and inspiration to bring more creativity into her business operations. She redesigned her service delivery process to be more flexible and personalized. Client satisfaction scores jumped and referrals increased. Dream bridging had helped her access a part of herself that had been dormant. Your practice assignment is to identify one quality or capability you want more of in your business, and spend 10 days doing waking activities that embody that quality before bed. Track how your dreams shift, then implement the insights that emerge. We're approaching the final integration stage. Everything I've taught you is meaningless if it doesn't become automatic. Integration means the practice disappears as a separate thing you do and becomes simply how you operate. You don't think about dream capture. You just wake up and speak. You don't think about looking for symbols. You see them effortlessly. You don't think about implementing. You act naturally on intelligence received. This is the goal. Unconscious competence. You'll know you've reached integration when several things are true. 1. You can't imagine not capturing dreams because it feels like ignoring important data. 2. You notice dream guidance appearing in waking life through synchronicity without seeking it. 3. Other people start commenting that you seem to make unusually good decisions or have uncanny timing. 4. Your business results improve measurably and you can trace specific wins to specific dreams. 5. You feel more aligned and less conflicted because your conscious and subconscious minds are collaborating rather than fighting. Integration typically happens around month 6 for people who practice consistently. Before that, it's conscious effort. After that, it's automatic flow. The practice doesn't get harder. It gets easier and more natural until it's not practice anymore. It's just how you live. This is dream alchemy. This is how you turn visions into material wealth. Not through magic, through method. Not through luck, through labor. Not through hoping, through knowing. You already have everything you need. The question is whether you'll use it. I believe you will. I believe that's why you're here, why you've listened this far, why something in you knows there's more available than you've been accessing. The 48-hour challenge starts now. Before you sleep tonight, you're going to do 3 things. Set up your voice capture system. Review the 7 universal symbols. Say out loud, I will remember my dreams and I will act on what they tell me. Then sleep. Then capture whatever comes. Then within 48 hours, take one material action based on any element from that dream. Complete the loop. Vision to action to manifestation. That's the entire system. But before we close, I need to give you the advanced troubleshooting protocols because problems will arise and you need to know exactly how to solve them. Let's walk through the 7 most common obstacles and their precise solutions. Obstacle 1. You're capturing dreams consistently, but they seem completely random and unrelated to your business. This happens when your stress levels are so high that your dreams are purely processing emotional overwhelm rather than providing strategic guidance. Solution: add a 10-minute worry dump before bed. Write down everything on your mind, every concern, every task, every worry. Get it out of your head and onto paper. This clears the queue so your subconscious can move past survival processing and into strategic intelligence. Give it 1 week of worry dumps. Your dreams will shift from chaotic emotional processing to clearer guidance. Obstacle 2. You wake up knowing you dreamed, but can't access any content whatsoever. It's like there's a wall between you and the dream memory. This is often caused by waking up too abruptly or with too much external stimulation. Solution: change your alarm. Use a gradual light alarm that simulates sunrise, or use a gentle sound that increases slowly, or have someone wake you gently if possible. The goal is to wake up gradually rather than being jolted awake. The jolt activates your fight or flight system, which immediately wipes dream memory. Gradual waking preserves the transition state where dreams are accessible. Obstacle 3. Your dreams are vivid and clear, but you can't figure out how they relate to your business questions. Everything feels symbolic, but nothing clicks into practical meaning. Solution: you're probably overinterpreting. Try literal interpretation first. If you dream about your actual office, consider it might actually be about your office, not symbolic. If you dream about a specific person you work with, consider it might be about that actual relationship, not them representing something else. Start with the most obvious interpretation. Only go symbolic if literal doesn't produce actionable insight. Most people make the mistake of looking for hidden meaning when the meaning is often sitting right on the surface. Obstacle 4. You implement dream guidance and it doesn't work. You took action, nothing happened, or it even made things worse. This feels like proof the system is broken. Solution: check your timeline expectations. Dream intelligence often operates on a longer timeline than you expect. An action you take today based on dream guidance might not show results for weeks or months. Also check whether you implemented the actual guidance or your edited version of it. Your conscious mind often softens or modifies dream guidance to make it more comfortable. Go back to the original dream. Did you actually do what it suggested, or did you do a safer version? If you truly implemented accurately and enough time has passed and results are genuinely negative, then you misinterpreted the dream. That's data. Try a different interpretation and test again. Failure is feedback, not final. Obstacle 5. Someone close to you mocks or dismisses your dream work and now you feel self-conscious about continuing. Solution: stop talking about it with people who don't get it. Dream alchemy is not a social performance. It's a private practice with public results. Let the results speak. When your business grows, when your decisions improve, when your stress decreases, people will notice and ask what you're doing differently. Then you can share. But you don't need anyone's permission or validation to practice. Keep your process private and your results public. Obstacle 6. You're having dark dreams that scare you or make you not want to sleep. Solution: remember that dreams can't hurt you. They're information. Dark dreams are showing you fears, shadows, and risks. They feel bad, but they're trying to help you. Instead of avoiding them, lean in. Use the nightmare protocol. Ask what they're protecting you from. Use dream dialogue to speak with the scary figures. You'll usually find that what seems threatening in the dream is actually showing you something you need to face in waking life. Once faced, the scary dreams stop. They're only scary because you're running. Turn around and look. Obstacle 7. You've been practicing for months and you're getting great dreams, but you're still not seeing significant material wealth results. Solution: audit your implementation rate honestly. How many dreams have you actually acted on versus how many have you decoded and then filed away? Let me give you a power technique for accelerating your dream literacy. Dream rehearsal. Once a week, take one of your past dreams and rewrite it with a different ending. You start with the dream as it actually happened, but when you reach the point where you usually wake up or where the dream takes a turn you don't like, you consciously write a new direction. This isn't changing history. This is training your subconscious to explore alternative scenarios. Here's why this works. Your subconscious often gets stuck in pattern loops, showing you the same outcome repeatedly because it doesn't see alternatives. By consciously creating alternative endings during waking, you're showing your subconscious that other options exist. Then your future dreams start exploring those options naturally. This is especially powerful for recurring nightmares or stuck situations. Brian kept dreaming that he was giving a presentation and his words came out wrong or nobody listened. The dream replayed with minor variations dozens of times. He tried dream rehearsal. He wrote the dream up to the point where he starts presenting. Then he wrote a new ending where his words are clear, powerful, compelling, and the audience responds enthusiastically. He wrote this alternate ending 5 times over 2 weeks, really feeling into what success would feel like. His dream shifted. The presentation dream came back, but this time it played out successfully. More importantly, his real presentations improved because he'd mentally rehearsed success through the dream rehearsal practice. The boundary between dream practice and waking practice dissolved. Try dream rehearsal weekly. Pick a dream that ended unsatisfyingly or stuck you in limitation. Rewrite the ending with you succeeding, solving the problem, accessing what you need. Write it in detail with sensory information. This rewrites your subconscious programming over time. Let's go deep on the relationship between dream cycles and moon cycles, because there's an ancient connection here that modern science is starting to validate. Studies show that sleep quality and dream intensity fluctuate with lunar phases. Many practitioners report more vivid dreams during full moons and more introspective dreams during new moons. You don't need to believe in astrology to work with this. You just need to track it. Here's the practice. Note the moon phase when you have your most significant dreams. After 3 months of tracking, you'll likely notice patterns. Maybe your most actionable business dreams come during waxing moons when energy is building. Maybe your most reflective, strategic dreams come during waning moons when energy is releasing. Once you know your personal lunar pattern, you can time your dream incubations accordingly. Want guidance on launching something new? Incubate during waxing moon. Want guidance on what to release or complete? Incubate during waning moon. This isn't mystical. It's pattern recognition. Your body is influenced by circadian rhythms, seasonal rhythms, and likely lunar rhythms too, since we're mostly water and the moon affects tides. Working with these rhythms instead of ignoring them makes everything easier. You're surfing natural waves of energy rather than swimming against them. Natasha tracked her dreams against moon cycles for 6 months and found a clear pattern. Her expansion dreams, the ones about growth and new opportunities, clustered around full moons. Her consolidation dreams, the ones about completing projects and letting things go, clustered around new moons. She started scheduling her business calendar to match. New client campaigns launched during waxing moons. Operational reviews and project completions happened during waning moons. Her business became more rhythmic, less forced. Revenue smoothed out because she stopped pushing against natural energy cycles. Track your dreams against moon phases using any moon phase app or calendar. After 90 days, look for correlations. Then use what you find to optimize your practice and your business timing. Now let me address what happens when you have a breakthrough dream. One that's so clear and powerful that you know it's significant before you even fully wake up. These dreams are rare but unmistakable. They have a quality of presence and authority that normal dreams don't. Some people describe them as technicolor dreams or dreams that feel more real than waking life. When you have one of these, treat it as high-priority intelligence. Here's the breakthrough dream protocol. First, capture it immediately and in complete detail. Don't let a single element escape. Second, don't share it with anyone for at least 24 hours. Let it sit inside you without external input diluting its message. Third, ask yourself what would change if I trusted this dream completely. What action would I take that I've been avoiding? Fourth, take that action within 72 hours maximum. Breakthrough dreams are time-sensitive. Fifth, document what happens after you implement. Breakthrough dreams usually lead to breakthrough results, but only if you act on them decisively. Michael had a breakthrough dream after 8 months of practice. He dreamed he was standing at a crossroads and a figure handed him a map. The map showed a route he'd never considered. He woke up knowing with absolute certainty that he needed to pivot his business from local services to online products. This was terrifying because it meant rebuilding his business model from scratch. But the dream had that quality of absolute knowing. He trusted it. Within 3 weeks, he launched his first digital course. Within 6 months, his revenue doubled and his time commitment halved because products scale in ways services don't. That breakthrough dream changed his entire trajectory. He acted on it because he recognized its authority. Have you had a breakthrough dream? Maybe not recently, maybe years ago. A dream so vivid you still remember it? What did it tell you that you didn't act on? Is it too late, or is it still available as guidance? Often breakthrough dreams remain relevant for years because they're pointing to core truths about who you are and what you're here to build. If you've had one and didn't act on it, it's not too late. Revisit it. Ask what it was telling you. Ask if that guidance still applies. Then act. Let's talk about dream documentation beyond basic capture, because how you organize your dream archive matters for long-term pattern recognition. At minimum, you need date, dream content, and any actions taken. But for advanced practice, add these fields to your tracking system. Emotional tone, rate from 1 to 10 how the dream felt overall. Primary symbol, name the most charged element. Business relevance, rate from 1 to 10 how directly it relates to current business situation. Implementation status, captured, decoded, acted on, or results measured. Moon phase, just note it. This 5-field addition turns your dream journal into a queryable database. After 6 months with these fields populated, you can run analysis. Which emotional tones correlate with accurate guidance? Which symbols appear most often before major breakthroughs? Which moon phases produce your most actionable dreams? Which dreams did you act on versus ignore, and what were the consequences? This meta-analysis reveals your personal dream operating system. You're not following generic rules. You're discovering how your specific subconscious communicates with your specific conscious mind. David did this analysis after a year and discovered something fascinating. His dreams with fear or anxiety tones were actually his most accurate predictive dreams, while his pleasant, comfortable dreams were often processing past events rather than providing forward guidance. This was opposite to what he'd assumed. He thought positive dreams were good guidance and negative dreams were noise. Reality was inverted. Once he knew this about his personal system, he paid extra attention to uncomfortable dreams, and his decision quality improved dramatically. He was reading his own manual correctly, instead of following someone else's interpretation. Build your dream database from day one. The long-term pattern analysis is where exponential value emerges. This isn't busy work. This is building your personal intelligence infrastructure. Now we need to talk about dream guidance that contradicts expert advice, because this will happen. You'll work with a consultant or coach who tells you to do X, and your dreams will clearly indicate do Y instead. This creates cognitive dissonance. Who do you trust? The paid expert or your subconscious? Here's my framework for this situation. First, consider whether the expert advice addresses something your subconscious can't assess, like tax law or technical implementation details. If so, trust the expert on technical execution, but trust your dreams on strategy and direction. Second, check whether you're using dream guidance to avoid uncomfortable but necessary actions. Sometimes we want dreams to give us permission to not do hard things. Be honest about this. Third, if after honest assessment your dream guidance still contradicts expert advice on strategic direction, trust your dreams. The expert doesn't have access to your full context, your unique strengths, your specific market position, and your intuitive read on timing. Your subconscious does. Laura's business coach told her to niche down and specialize in one target market. The advice was sound and data-backed, but Laura kept dreaming about gardens with many different types of plants all thriving together. The diversity was the point in her dreams. When she did dream dialogue with the garden, it told her that her strength was cross-pollination between different client types, and that narrowing would kill her competitive advantage. She ignored the coach's advice and stayed generalist, but got more intentional about how different client types informed. Use experts for what they're good at. Technical knowledge and best practices. Use your dreams for what they're good at. Personalized strategic guidance that accounts for variables no external expert can fully see. When they conflict on strategy, trust your dreams. When they conflict on tactics or technical matters, trust the expert. Let me give you a final advanced technique called dream stacking. This is where you use one dream's guidance to set up conditions for the next dream to go deeper. For example, you have a dream about water flowing. You decode it as guidance about improving cash flow. You take action to improve cash flow. Then you deliberately incubate a follow-up question. Now that flow is improving, where should the flow direct toward? You're using each dream as a stepping stone to the next level of guidance. Dream stacking creates momentum and depth that single dream interpretation can't match. You're treating your dream practice as an ongoing conversation rather than isolated incidents. This conversation can run for weeks or months on a single theme, each dream building on the previous one's wisdom.